the farm today, and we got a new acquisition on this farm, and that is a Honda Recon ES. And this is a 2007 model. And my son, one of my boys, and he found a deal on two of these, and he bought one of them, and I bought one of them on the cheap. And his runs extremely well. It's manual shift. This one, being an ES, is electric shift, and his run's perfect. This one needs a little bit of carburetor work, probably a good cleaning, and but they're both in pretty good shape. And we went through and changed the oil and the transmission oil and spark plugs, air filters, did the whole service on them. This one right here has an optional trailer hitch. You just can't haul very much with that hitch. There's not much in the way of payload. And so the reason I bought this, what we'd really like on this farm is a Kubota RTV side-by-side, a 4-seater that'll convert into a longer bed and make it a 2-seater. That's on the list. Don't know that we're quite ready to spend that kind of money right now. I've been spending money on this farm like a drunken sailor. But what I need something like this for is just to go out and check my fields. Sometimes I got to run from the barn to the main farm, and get something as simple as a hose clamp. And I know when we were baling up this teff grass, I had to replace the pump on my hay preservative applicator, and I came up short a hose clamp, and I went back over to the main farm and found one. And I rode this because it got me over there and back. I actually prefer to walk for the exercise of it. In some ways, they're kind of a worthless vehicle for me, because I'm really not into just riding these things around to be joyriding. I kind of need it for a purpose to, like I say, run errands and get up on the hill and check things. I'd like to put some kind of a box on the back and even on the front to hold a chainsaw, and if I need to throw something in it to carry over here, even a gas can, I can do it. And we got the mouse poison in these things. I got it everywhere. And this seat comes off. There's one right there. I mean, they're already eating on it. The mice in this barn are just devastating. I've got one down in that air cleaner, and like I say, they're already eating on them. This is they call this a 250, but it's not a 250 cubic inch engine. I think it's there we go. I believe it's a 229, but they say it's a 250 chassis. 250 chassis, 250 class machine, whatever that means. It's 2-wheel drive, it's not 4-wheel drive. And it's got a solid axle in the back, and then it's got, like I don't know if that's called wishbone suspension in the front. But it doesn't ride bad. It's real fast. I'm gonna climb up on here. It's real fast, and one of the things people disparage on the Kubota side-by-side is the top speed's 25, if you can even get that. A lot of people say you're lucky to go over 20 miles an hour. Well, at my age, I don't need to be going, 45, 50 miles an hour. But so typically, and until I can get my hands on the carburetor, which is going to probably be after hay season, in order to run smooth, and this may just be a characteristic of how you drive these things. I'm learning. We just got these things. But, obviously the electric shift is right here. You shift up and down, and you push this little button right here and pull that, and shift down, and it'll go in reverse. There's a light here that's for neutral and reverse, and when you go up in the gears, it lights up first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, which is kind of nice. And anyway, so what I'm finding as I drive it around is it's got plenty of power. I've had it up on the hill in some of the steepest spots that we pull with anything, and it's just got really plenty of power. I know you can get a lot bigger engines and things like that. I guess maybe towing and weight and bigger frame and more stability goes with it. And but it's actually got plenty of power. And I keep saying plenty of power because what happens is when I shift it in first gear and start out, right here's the throttle on it. Of course, there's brakes on either side, and there's a foot brake down here to the rear. But basically, every time you push that throttle in or out, it wants to go and then slow down. And so as you shift on into second gear, when you get into a more straight stretch, it lowers the RPMs, and the engine is not quite as in control as far as being herky-jerky. It's like it's got to kind of work. And then third gear's as fast as I go, and at that point it's a pretty smooth ride. Second gear's kind of smooth. When I get to third gear, it's actually a really smooth ride. It seems cold-natured, and again, this might be carburetor issues, but sometimes when I start it, it wants to die off. I've adjusted the carburetor. I think I've done about as much as I can do with that. We put fresh gas in it, and I got rid of the old gas, put fresh gas in it, and pretty much all the reviews I read online say, these Recon ES, the Recon, like I said, the one my son's got, it's got the shifter down here like a motorcycle. This one is, the ES is electronic shift. And anyway, his obviously you shift with your foot, and this one with your hand. And I thought we decided that I would get the electronic shift because, if my wife wanted to drive it, maybe it might be a little bit easier. But anyway, it wants to stall out some. It seems really cold-natured, but once you drive it a while, it seems to idle just fine, and you can let it idle while you go in the barn and do something. But I've used this thing quite a lot in the short time I've had it, just running back and forth to the main farm and back and checking fields. And when I had this tough grass cut, I'd ride out there and pick up the hay and flip it over and see what it felt like, and I'd just zip all over that field. One thing I don't want to do is to just constantly ride around on this thing and not walk. I just want to get as much exercise as I can, and this farm is a much better cardiovascular workout for me than the YMCA. I would like to walk as much as I can, but sometimes you just need to get on this and go. And of course, you've seen my Honda CRV farm truck. I mean, I'll drive it up on the hill, but I don't like to get it in tall grass and things like that. And I use my International Cub Cadet some in place of this before I bought it. But the deal we got on this was so good, and the guy gave us a nice break on price if we bought two of them. It was a local guy. They were garage kept. I think he took pretty good care of them. He just didn't ride them. And so he thought he'd get rid of them. And my son knew him, and he said, yeah, I'll get rid of them. So let me give this thing a crank. I'll do the best I can. I've got my iPhone here in my hand. And See, so what I got to do here is give it a little bit of gas. It otherwise runs pretty good. And my camera's going to be all over the place. Not a whole lot I can do about it. So, see that? And I'll just give you the good, bad, and ugly with it. If I had to foot shift, whoop, there it goes again. It's not this bad. See how it's kind of herky-jerky? In first gear, and once I kind of clear my barn a little bit, we'll ride over to the main farm. There's a big thunderstorm coming, so I'm not going to venture off too far. And there's the teff field I cut. It's starting to grow back pretty good. Probably about 24 days away from taking the second cut on that. You can see the dark clouds. We had a real storm up here the other day, and it dumped a lot of rain on this farm after I got my teff grass filled up. So let me get across this stuff. Little bumpy spot. It's hard to shift and hold an iPhone at the same time. You kind of get the idea. Third gear. It's much better if you don't have a phone in your hand. But once I run it for a little while, it seems to idle out just fine. But I think a carb cleaner, I hope you can hear me. I think a good carb cleaning would do a lot for this thing. And down to second gear. And we're in the turn here. I think you can start from stop. I've got interest in those old round bales. We're in such a severe drought. But we are starting to get some thunderstorm activity, which is good. What I'll do is I'll just go back around the perimeter of that field. Like I said, I don't want to venture out too far because I think I mentioned this is a 250 class machine, whatever that means. And but the engine is not a 250cc, it's a 220. Yeah, it's kind of jerky right there. But if I get it in the third gear, it's not quite so bad. Probably faster than I want to go. But I've sprayed this field for undesirables, let me put it to you that way. Hoping I have a nice second cut, but I won't take a second cut on this field until probably around Labor Day weekend, somewhere in that time frame. But see, I can get out on this and kind of whip around real quick. And like I say, I can get over to the main farm and fetch stuff that I need. Do I really need one of these? Do I really need one of these? Probably not. I mean, 30 or 40 years ago, we'd have never considered four-wheeler. Although I did buy a Honda Big Red three-wheeler the last years they made them, and had kind of a pivoting frame. And that was a really good machine, but I moved to the big city. Well, see, I just take it to neutral. And it's kind of idling okay. but it may or may not have kept running. I hope you could hear me through all that riding around. If not, I don't know if I can do a voiceover or what, but you know, again, do we need a machine like this? It's handy to have, and for the price that I spent on it, you know, I won't say it's something I had to buy, but it's a pretty handy little ATV for just checking fields and going to get something. And of course, I'm going to find a basket or make a basket for the back and the front. I want to be able to put a chainsaw on the front and the back, and then when things get cold and we get the frosts and you know all the ticks and bee nests are gone for the winter, I want to be able to put this on, go up and cut a little firewood, cut some branches and things out of the road, whatever I need to do. So you know, from that standpoint, it's kind of nice. It's not a necessity, but it is kind of nice. And I haven't had any traction problems with it being two-wheel drive. I'm not like fording creeks and doing crazy stuff with it. Like I said, I have no need to go super fast with this thing. And but anyway, we've got it. It's here on the farm, and thought I'd show it to you. The latest acquisition on the farm. My son's, his is a 2009. It's sitting over there. It's a Honda Recon as well, and we got a smoking deal, and so we just bought both of them, and so we'll run them at some point. I feel pretty certain we're going to have a Kubota side by side RTV up here, a diesel, and I know when my dad was living, when he got older, where he couldn't walk very well. We tried to get him to buy a nice side-by-side four-wheel drive, something that he could just put a bucket of tools in and knock around up here instead of walking, maybe even take a 22 rifle out in the woods, something that was reliable that would get him back to the farmhouse. And, you know, he didn't want to spend the money. He was from the Great Depression, you know. But I think probably at some point we'll have a Kubota RTV, and I may send this down the road. But for right now, the price of this is like a major fraction smaller than the price of a Kubota. But anyway, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. You'll see these in the background and maybe riding around on them some while I'm up here. I'll probably have more videos on them, but Honda Recon. This one's a 2007 Recon ES electric shift, and my son back there, his is a, it's not an electric shift. It's got the foot thing just like a motorcycle. If you have any experience with these, I'd like to hear about them in the comments. But, you know, so far so good. I kind of like it. We'll talk to you later.